People are lining up to get into this town because it's the only place in Prescott where safety, brand new construction homes with top quality, nice finishes, and full amenities such as master plan communities all come together in one spot. So in this video, you're getting the much anticipated, highly requested driving tour. We're taking you around to the town that we've decided to call home and raise our family in, as if you were in the car with us checking it out.
So we're headed west on Highway 69. This is the main highway. You would be driving up from Phoenix if you flew into town. And we're going to turn right on Glassford Hill Road and hit the awesome sign, Prescott Valley, established 1978, the cooler side of Arizona.
So one of the nice things about Prescott Valley is the new shopping. We do have a lot of it here. Most of our major retailers are located on this Glassford Hill corridor. There's some venues such as the Findlay Toyota Center, which should be coming up on our right. There's the new construction of the Legato, which is where this crane is up ahead of us. And so it's kind of the urban core, if you will, of the town of Prescott Valley.
It's quite a bit different from that of downtown Prescott with the historic Whiskey Row. But it's very familiar if you live in a suburban city in your state. You'll see a lot of the newer shopping. Here's Buffalo Wild Wings on the right.
Behind that is the movie theater, which I believe is a Harkett's movie theater. I think it's, 24 screens, which is really nice. They hold the arts and crafts and farmers market in this parking lot off to our right. I will say that this is... it's a good location because some people that live in Prescott, kind of on that Prescott Valley border, they will come over here and do their shopping because everything is just so neatly tucked into one location.
We've got a Kohl's on the left and also a Walmart Supercenter. We're going to turn right here and head past a brand new hotel on the left. It's going to be the Town Suites by Marriott, and then the Legato project on the right, which is a huge mixed-use project. That is under construction right now. They'll also have a big parking garage for the Findlay Toyota Center, which is on our left. And it's the Toyota Center, which I'll hang a left here. This is the largest event center in Yavapai County, which is the county we are in. I think it seats 12 to 13,000 people. And you've got everything from concerts to home shows to we've even had indoor monster trucks. So
there's a lot of larger names that are coming here too, which I think is why they're starting to build more hotels in the area to allow for that to happen. Lainey Wilson has been here. There has been Greg Gutfeld just was recently here. Gabriel Iglesias, the funny man, was here. So there's definitely some larger name headliners that have come to the area, which is super nice. Here's a perk. If you're coming from a big city that Prescott Valley can beat you on, you don't have to pay for parking here. So that's kind of a bonus. We're going to go across Florentine and we'll check out a couple of the things over at the Prescott Valley Town Center. There's an In the Game there, which has an outdoor putting miniature golf area. I'm not a golfer, so hopefully I didn't call that the wrong name. Along with the movie theater and then a couple of restaurants. The building off to our left is a rental community. So sometimes what we'll see, people come out and they're not quite sure where they want to land in Prescott Valley. So there are a couple of those established rental apartment home communities, such as Homestead at Talking Glass, which is what you're seeing in this area. It is walkable here to an extent. You would have to cross Glassford Hill, which does sometimes get a little busy for our area. But it's probably the most walkable location in Prescott Valley, wouldn't you say?
For sure. So we're Shawn and Tiffany Danley, local realtors and real estate experts behind the Living in Prescott channel. We thank you for joining us. We've helped countless numbers of retirees and families alike relocate to the Prescott area. And if you're considering a move to northern Arizona, we want to be the first call you make. And thank you for joining us.
So we're going to drive through the Prescott Valley Town Center and let you see some of the amenities in this. Again, this is kind of right in the heart of town. There's a couple of restaurants in here, the movie theater's in here, and then shopping as well.
Gabby's Grill on the right, kind of a local cafe restaurant. Here's the Harkins Theater on the right as well.
So another neat thing about this location too, next to the movie theater, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it that great, but there's a cute little local place. It's called Rafter 11, straight ahead of us, next to the Buffalo Wild Wings. And on the weekends, they'll have live music and they'll have get-togethers out on their patio area, and it's kind of a fun place. They have great food as well. Rosa's is another locally owned restaurant to our area. It is an Italian restaurant, and they do have a location in Prescott. So it is kind of nice that you don't have to drive into Prescott proper to get a great meal from one of the local restaurateurs.
So again, with this Legato project, it's a mixed-use project where it's going to have a commercial retail shops on the bottom floor and then residential above. There was even some talk early on about having sort of a top floor restaurant from one of the local restaurateurs of our area. So we're pretty excited to see this thing go up, which should probably open sometime by the end of 2026.
The other thing they were talking about doing there too is a local, very like a quick grab and go, grab some sandwiches. They were talking about a little market too, so that would kind of
Market deli.
Yeah, Market Deli. Across the street, you'll see Fry's. So Fry's is going to be your Kroger brand grocery. Some areas of the country, it's Fred Meyer. Other areas, it's Ralph's. So Fry's is what we have here local to our area. I'm not a Fry's fan, but some people absolutely love Fry's. I just feel like it's too big and I can't find anything. But it's definitely popular amongst the locals in the area. And as Shawn had pointed out, there's a Kohl's and some of those other sorts of things, a couple little, quick grab and go type food places like sandwich shops and that sort. So from here, we're going to head north on Glassford Hill Drive, and we are actually going to head toward the library and the Civic Center, right, Shawn?
Yep.
So one thing that I personally really love about the town of Prescott Valley is it's ranked number 3 safest town in the entire state of Arizona. That is a huge deal, especially with, I feel, certain areas crime is kind of skyrocketing and getting worse as the days and years go by. And so for the ability to live in the 3rd safest town in the entire state of Arizona, which is a big state, I think that's pretty neat that that's even an option.
So we're turning east on Lakeshore Drive, just off of Glassford Hill, which is sort of our main drag. And you're going to see this real modern looking building on the left-hand side. That's actually our Town of Prescott Valley Library. It's one of the most beautiful libraries I've ever walked in. Has an amazing children's section, amazing adult section on the bottom floor. And then this is kind of our civic center for the town of Prescott Valley. So
all the mayor's office is in there. This entire street we're driving on right now is closed for the Red, White, and Boom. There's a lot of events, as you're going to see coming up in the lawn off to our left, which is where, again, the Red, White, and Boom is held. You're going to see nearly 3,000 flags. Those are put on display as part of the healing field, and that is all in remembrance and recognition of the lives lost during 9/11. Those are on display for over a week every September. Volunteers come together and install those. There are name placards, so if somebody knew somebody that was lost during 9/11, you can go and actually see the flag and spend some time at the flag for them personally. So it's nice to see that the town is doing that as well. And another thing that you see here too is people out walking, again, because it's a safe area. It's a walkable area. There are sidewalks to be able to walk on, which is nice. We're going to hang a right up here or head south on Windsong Drive. And off to our right, we're going to drive past our local hospital. Our hospital in the area is a Dignity Health facility, and Dignity Health has their location here in Prescott Valley along with Prescott. So it's nice that there's a local hospital. If you do unfortunately need some medical care and attention, it's in your backyard. There's some skilled nursing centers. There are pretty much, for the most part, everything you can think of related to medical around here. There's some dentists in the area.
Chiropractors, specialists, cancer treatments, really everything. This whole area is sort of the medical area of Prescott Valley. You've got a nursing center and rehabilitation center.
physical therapist, all sorts of stuff in here. There's even, we had some great friends that just delivered their baby here. So there is even there's a birthing center here as well. So all spectrums and all gamut of medical is here. There's a cardiac care place off to the left. So pretty much, again, if, this is your kind of hub for the medical area. Interesting factoid that you may or may not know unless you were working with a skilled realtor in the area. This gray building that we're going to see here on the corner is actually where the Bradshaw Mountain Laboratory is located, and that's where your skilled home inspector would take your water quality samples to test for any sort of contaminants if you were buying a house that was located on a well. So we're going to continue we're going to continue west, and we are going to see a big hill in front of us, and that is actually Glassford Hill. It's a dormant volcano, and just recently the town of Prescott Valley and the city of Prescott on the other side of Glassford Hill went and purchased the entire hill, and they have
From the state.
and they have huge plans for that. So they are actually going to be putting in the Glassford Dells Regional Park, which is going to be fantastic for the area, because another great thing about Prescott Valley is the outdoor recreation possibilities. So there's been talk about even putting in chairlift access to the very top. The elevation gain in less than a mile, I believe, is 1,300 feet?
Yeah, it's just under 1,000. So it's under 1,000 feet of elevation gain in less than a mile. So it's quite the hike
when you're already starting at about 5,000 foot of elevation. So they talked about doing that, and there's going to be more hiking trails. The nice thing is the town of Prescott Valley, while they are allowing for new development, they are trying to protect the integrity of the nature there, and they're actually going to be capping how far up the hill new construction can occur. So that's pretty neat. So as we're sitting for this stoplight to change here at the corner of Glassford Hill and Florentine, we thought we would point out rush hour in Prescott Valley, if you can call it that.
So if you happen to want to come out and try the town out for size, great little hotel, Hampton Inn, right there on the left-hand side. Hotels are kind of one of those things that are in high demand in our area. We're just having our second larger scale hotel being built, which should open really any time now.
I think that's a good idea, though. If it's something that you're considering the area and you want more information about the area, come out, spend time out here, maybe, book a few days to a week. You can even stay in an Airbnb. There's quite a few of those located here in Prescott Valley. See what it's like to shop at the grocery store and fill up your gas at the gas station and, kind of live life here, if you will. Try it on for size before you make the move and see if it's something you like. So we're going to head to the community of Stoneridge next. And Stoneridge, I would say, is probably a 3 to 5 minute drive from the Prescott Valley Town Center?
Yeah, probably 5 minutes.
And Stoneridge actually has some more shopping, which are, again, newer shops and stores located right in its backyard. There's a coffee shop over there and a few restaurants as well. The nice thing with its location is you are right on the border of Prescott and Prescott Valley. So you are a couple stoplights up from Costco, and then you're one more stoplight up from a Trader Joe's, which is a nice location in our opinion.
So we're turning west on Highway 69 at Glassford Hill, and we're going to head up to the next major intersection, which will be Stoneridge Parkway, and we're going to head south.
Something about Prescott Valley and Prescott as a whole, actually, it's kind of an outdoor recreation mecca, and it's a good jumping off spot. So you'll probably see some of the RV dealerships. There's golf cart dealerships, and then there are also side-by-side and motorcycle dealership off to our right. And so it's kind of a common thing in our area, right, to have those toys and those outdoor recreation things. So this is where you would go if you were shopping for one of those. Another place that we absolutely love here locally, and it's locally owned and run, is Mr. Honeyman. That's the fun yellow building off to our right. The Honeyman offers not only honey, but they have locally sourced lotions and soaps, and they sell local beef and that sort of thing in there. So that's kind of a neat place to check out if you're in the area too. It's kind of one of those little hidden gems, wouldn't you say, Shawn?
So we're coming up on Stoneridge Parkway, and you'll see the signs here on our left. Golf, homes, and dining. The Stoneridge Golf Course is actually the only golf course in Prescott Valley. So if you want to be in a golf community, it's actually a public course, which is great. Not too expensive to play there. This is gonna be your stop.
One thing about Stoneridge to keep in mind, it is a homeowners association. The homeowners association dues, depending on where you fall into the phases or into the community, they can be a little bit more on the costly side, wouldn't you say, Shawn?
Yeah, what are the dues in Stoneridge?
So they on average, they're around $85 per month, but they go up from there. There's a gated community in there that's right off of the driving range. Those are a little bit middle.
That one's just under $200 per month.
Yep. And then there are some townhomes without rear yards, and those are up from there as well. It is a great location, though, and I do love all the amenities. I know that is definitely one of the perks of living in Prescott Valley are some of these master plan communities with top-notch amenities at your fingertips. This is one of only 2 communities in the entire Prescott area that has an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. So if swimming is a big deal, that's something that's a definite perk here. And it's fun because they have these massive glass commercial garage doors. It looks kind of like a firehouse on the backside. And they'll open those up for the indoor pool during the summer as well so that both pools can be utilized. Which I like. I will, insider information, say that it's probably one of my least favorite gyms in the area. It's pretty small, and it is a little on the dark side. I just feel like there's not enough windows in there. You kind of feel like you're going to punishment. But
Closet.
It is unfortunately a little bit lackluster in there. But I do like the 2 pools.
So we just made our left-hand turn on Stoneridge Drive, and you'll see we're gonna kind of drive through this canyon, arroyo, if you will, and you'll see the green in the far distance, one of the holes.
So Stoneridge, actually, another factoid, which is interesting about this location, this community, it backs up to National Forest, which is fantastic if you like to get out and hike. They have these massive trails on either side, so you can do hiking and walking, walk your dog, run, that sort of thing. So I do like that about here. And I just think it's really pretty in these hills too.
Yeah, you've got a big walking trail on the right-hand side. That's probably a 8-foot wide sidewalk, and it runs all the way to Highway 69.
So you could walk down there and grab coffee because Dutch Bros is located in that particular parking lot.
Yep.
I might like coffee. So another interesting thing or cool thing about this community is if you could drive golf carts through here. So I know we've had people reach out to us in the past that said, I'm getting near retirement or I am retired and I want to hop in my golf cart and run over to the clubhouse or run over to a friend's house for dinner. And I don't want to take my car. I want to drive a golf cart. Can I ride or drive those in a community? And this would be one of those communities that you can do that in.
So we feel it feels very deserty as you're driving in, and then you'll see when we crest up over this hill, the mature landscape once you get into the neighborhood portions of Stoneridge. It's super pretty. They have some of the most amazing and impressive streets in all of Prescott Valley. I think the street scenes are just super pretty.
They tried to do that neighborhood feel. They try to create a very strong sense of neighborhood feel in here. And so some of the communities are based on local neighborhood parks, so you can have that interaction between you and your neighbors. There kind of is something, I know I said this before, but there kind of is something for everybody and what you're looking for in every different type of architecture or style of home. So they have, like I had mentioned, they have the smaller townhomes on up to 0 lot line, side yard, rear entry, access garages. They do have 1 and 2 stories in here. Then they get larger, with your standard garages in the front of the house, with rear backyards, which are more typical. And then they go all the way up into custom homes, which get onto some of the larger lots with amazing views.
So here's the community center for Stoneridge on the right.
There's a golf cart.
Yeah, someone drove their golf cart to the community center.
I think one thing that I thought was neat when we've been in here in the past is they actually have like a community library, so you can bring a book, grab a book kind of thing. I thought that was neat. And then they had some board games that you could check out. I kind of thought that was cool. It just gives you that really neat sense of community in there. Here's one of their community parks. They have restrooms, playground equipment, all sorts of stuff. These are going to be those zero lot line with the garages in the back off of an alleyway style product or homes. They did this so that you could, again, interact with your neighbors. You don't just drive in the front of your house and shut your garage door and don't see your neighbors. That was the thought behind it. I love the trees in this neighborhood. It feels very storybook to me.
So they have obviously smaller cottage style homes and then all the way up to large, fully custom homes. And the custom homes kind of wrap around the perimeter of Stoneridge up against the National Forest. So we're going to run into this dead end street here and you'll see some of the custom homes up on the hill. Some of those can get up to, 3,000-4,000 square feet.
It's one thing, though, some of these do have some gnarly driveways, like the one ahead of us. So if we get snow, you're going to want to make sure that your driveway is facing the right direction so that you can have snow melt and you're able to drive your car out the next day. The views from up here, too, are pretty incredible. You can see the Mingus Mountain Range off in the distance, which is just fantastic. We're going to head over to the golf course area now, and they do have a driving range. Like Shawn said, it is a public course. You can have a membership there as well. The nice thing is I spoke to the golf director, and forgive me if that's the wrong terminology, but I did speak to the golf director there not too long ago, and they were telling me that they'll have like a tee time that's open here or there. And so sometimes, depending on the time of year, you can get in at a very significantly discounted rate. So maybe you want to try to take advantage of that or get in, and save some money on golf. That would be something to look into for somebody in this neighborhood.
I know some people that have played here for $35.
Yes.
For an 18-hole course, which is outstanding. So, of course, that's last minute tee time, same day type of a thing, but still to get in and play a round of golf in a beautiful setting like this for that price is pretty awesome.
I feel like almost every time we're in here, there's somebody out walking their dog or the neighbors are out with each other. It's just a very friendly community. And they do some different events throughout the year. So they'll have like the community barbecue, or they'll have get-togethers. Sometimes they have bounce houses put up and that sort of thing. Which is pretty nice. I know another question that we often get in this particular location is wildlife, especially if you have like small dogs and that sort of thing. Yes, you're going to have that potential for wildlife in this area. You might see coyotes, you might see a rogue javelina every once in a while. Snakes, obviously, we do have in our area, but it's pretty developed. So I would say it's probably something that you would be more cautious if you were out hiking or on the trail. Straight ahead is the driving range of the golf course, and then Shawn's going to take a right here into the golf course center so that you can see what this looks like as well. They do host events at this particular center. I know we were in here one day and they were having like an employee appreciation party for one of the local companies, which was pretty nice. And
they do tournaments.
They do tournaments. I feel they have like a men's group and a ladies group, that sort of thing. So if that were something that you liked, you definitely would want to look into it and see what those look like and what days and times those are available.
Okay, so as we're leaving Stoneridge is actually one of the earlier master plan communities of Prescott Valley. And if you're interested in master plan communities, you want amenities, golf amenities, clubhouse, gyms, pools, all that sort of thing. There's probably more variety of planned communities in Prescott Valley than really anywhere else in the Prescott region.
Well, and I would say if that's something that you're really honing in on or interested in getting more information, definitely reach out and let us know. We know of all of the master plan communities. We know what the amenities are like. We've toured every master plan community amenity center in the entire area, wouldn't you say, Shawn? So if you're specific on certain things that you're looking for, let us know. We'd be happy to share that with you and give you our feedback. Some of the HOAs, if that's a thing for you, that you don't want super restrictive HOA, but you do want the amenities, we know where those are as well and where the less restrictive ones are.
So we're headed north on Glassford Hill. We're headed up towards Highway 89. You'll notice a lot of these big empty fields in the Prescott Valley Town Center. Those are all zoned for commercial and future development. The town is, only been around since 1978, so it's about 40 years old. But there are plans for much of this empty space that you do see. Lots of growth in this region of Arizona.
Another interesting factoid about this particular location where we're currently driving, there were a few original cattle families that pretty much got together and said, okay, I would like this much land or that much land. And this was a long time ago. And one of those local families is the Fain family. And so if you look on a map, you might see Fain Road. And the Fains owned majority of this land. In fact, all the land where the Prescott Valley Town Center is constructed is all Fain land. The Legato building that's under construction right now, or project that's under construction, that's all Fain land. And so a lot of it over time has been developed. I think they're on 4th or 5th generation now. And while they still run cattle on a lot of the open space and a lot of the land, they are also getting into the development game, and they're the ones that do a lot of the development in this area. Another kind of cool thing too, they're off to our left is our local high school, Bradshaw Mountain High School. And I know we've had people before say, where can I go see a high school football game? Or where can I go watch a high school band play? And so some of people relocating to the area that like to do that in their old hometowns, they like to do that here. And so that's kind of a nice place to go and check that out. They come out and they were just recently, the high school was having a battle of the bands on a corner of a road over off of the 69 with the Prescott High School band. It was kind of funny. You're driving down the highway and you're sitting at a stoplight and you heard these bands battling it out. That was kind of fun to see. We actually had clients in the car with us from, I think, Texas that day, and they said it made them feel like they were at home because that was something familiar, was to hear the marching band.
So we're on the right, which are these homes under construction. And then on the left, those homes that are already completed. This is the 1,200-acre community of Granville. We've done lots of information about, lots of videos on the Granville community.
This is their final phase so that they're finishing out, and it's maybe a couple of years and that will be completed.
There'll be 3,500 homes in Granville at its build out, which is huge community.
Yeah. And like Shawn said, it's been about 20, 25 years now.
Yeah, they started in early 2000s.
The nice thing with Granville, they have 3 community centers as far as the amenities go, 3 pools, 3 gyms, 3 clubhouses, and it's all included in your HOA fees. You can use any of the 3.
As little as like $60 a month.
Yeah, I think it's $67 a month. They even have their own elementary school, which is coming up here on the right, Granville Elementary. So it's a great community. For sure. It is kind of interesting, though, with that community. It's so large that it runs both sides of Glassford Hill. So the original phases are off to our right where the large trees are, and the newer stuff is off to the left, which is kind of unique. I don't think we can think of any other communities where it runs on 2 sides of a major road, can you? No.
So we're coming up to Highway 89A, which is the A is for alternate. It's kind of our outer loop of our town, and so a lot of communities have an outer loop that runs sort of the perimeter of the town, and it is a freeway, so there's no stoplights once you get on.
It runs parallel to the 69, and so if you live kind of in this area or the north side of Prescott Valley, which is where we're heading right now, and you want to go into the courthouse square for an event or something that's going on down there, we like to call it the Bat Cave. You hop on the 89A and then you run through the Dells and you're in town. From this location in about 18 minutes, maybe 20 tops if there's traffic. So it's not terrible. And then it also will take you, if you head west on the 89A, which we're going to be going east, but if you were to head west, it would take you out to the airport as well. So safety and new home construction and top-notch amenities are definitely things that put Prescott Valley at the top of a lot of people's list. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to head out and take a look at 4 places that you absolutely need to see for yourself. We're going to check out a few communities and introduce you to what is in our area. And I think the first community we're going to head out to is Copperfield, right, Shawn?
We'll head to Copperfield.
So we're going to get off the 89A at the exit of Viewpoint, and we're going to head to the community of Copperfield. Something that's neat about this location, this is going to be kind of the starting point of North Prescott Valley, and it's called that because obviously it's on the north side of the 89A. There's a local family who decided that we needed to have some sort of conveniences out here and put in not one, but two convenience centers or stores. They're both called Roberts. That's their family name. And there's a couple restaurants. There's a little pizza place and a sub shop off to our right. And then off to the left, he decided it needed to be a little bit larger than the original one and put in a couple more restaurants. There's a donut shop. There is a new teppanyaki sushi place over there called Sakura, which is fantastic. I know that sounds funny to say that sushi in Arizona is good, but it actually is. They brought in some chefs from the teppanyaki chefs are from as far away as New York, and a couple of them from LA as well.
Texas, LA.
Yeah. And so very talented chefs over there. And then our local to us, locally owned as well and operated Mexican restaurant, which is Lindo, Mexico. So if you live in this North Prescott Valley area and you head into Lindo, Mexico on a Tuesday night, you likely will, run into some of your friends and neighbors from the area. And then there's also a doctor-run Dignity Health location, doctor's office in this center.
Where the flag is on the left is the Roberts North. And there's a car wash over there, A&W Root Beer as well, and then a few restaurants that Tiffany had mentioned.
This is kind of the area that we're seeing a lot of the new development and growth occur. Pronghorn Ranch is another community that we'll tour in a little bit, and that's probably the older area, that and then Viewpoint, which we're getting ready to drive through. Those have been here for about 22 to 25 years. We're starting to see some more development in the commercial space as well. There's a new dental office that's opened up in addition to the restaurants and that sort of thing out here. I think they're building a new storage facility. There's a nursery back there and that sort of stuff. So definitely seeing some growth.
Well, a lot of the new home communities, you're going to see the signs here on the right for various developers that have new home construction. So if a new home could be in your future, this is definitely an area worth considering.
Just make sure when you go out to those new home subdivisions, the sales offices, before you do, take an experienced, knowledgeable agent with you to help you on your behalf, because keep in mind when you go into those sales offices, they work for the builder, the developer, the seller on the other side, not for you as the buyer. So having your own representation is definitely a benefit for you as a buyer.
Should they call you, Tiffany?
They could call us. Be absolutely happy to help with that. We've sold a lot of new construction homes in the area. And it is always valuable to have somebody in the area who's experienced with them and have those relationships with the sales agents. So you know what incentives are coming and how far to push the negotiation and that sort of stuff. So I think that's definitely beneficial. So we're on Viewpoint and we're getting ready to head south on Parkview, and off to our left is a large local park. They host, I've seen everything from dog training classes to soccer to kids riding bikes to people having fitness and workout get-togethers in the park. It is a nice little bonus in this area. And we're getting ready to head into the community of Copperfield. What we're driving through right here is the community of Viewpoint. Viewpoint is about 25 years old now. And it is an HOA. It does not have any of the master plan amenities that a lot of people know and love, but it's got to be one of the least expensive homeowners associations in the entire Prescott Valley area. And you're about $80 per year for your HOA in there, depending on where you're located within there. So that is something that is nice. Another little known fact about Copperfield as we're driving in, it is a planned community of 4-acre minimum parcels. And the developer behind it is the same developer as Jasper. So we're going to enter the gated community of Copperfield and check it out. So sometimes people will call us and say, I've lived in a very dense urban environment for my entire life, such as Southern California, And I want space between myself and my neighbors, but I don't necessarily want to live in an area where I'm going to hear roosters crowing or cows mooing. So this is an area that some of our clients will end up moving to. And this area does not allow for those types of animals unless you're on a couple of the lots, and those are the very back of the community. These are all custom homes in here, and nice space between you and your neighbors.
These are all 4-acre lots minimum, which is great. It's a whole lot of space, and you can obviously see and feel what 4 acres is like. And you also, one of the big pluses of this neighborhood of Copperfield, it sits on kind of an old cattle ranch. And so you can really experience the amazing night skies, our dark sky community. The entire county is a dark sky community.
It feels like you're in Big Sky, Montana. You know, you just have beautiful star-lit skies, like Shawn said. And if you're into stargazing, this is definitely an area to check out.
The neighborhood's only about 4 years old. So all these homes that you see are 4 years or newer. And there's still lots of land in here if it's something that you were thinking about wanting to build your own custom home, but it just goes on forever.
A neat thing in here too, again, like we've talked about, is I know some people like their toys in Arizona or like to tinker and have shops. They do allow for shops, and they can be metal buildings in here, which is significant because some HOAs will not allow for metal buildings. So that's definitely something different in this community. 4 acres may feel a little daunting, especially if you're coming from an area where you're used to everything being beautifully landscaped and, you know, done up to the nines. You don't have to completely landscape all 4 acres. So what we tend to see in these acreage style communities is selective landscaping up near the home or closer to the home, not the entire space. You know, you can leave the natural grass like what we're seeing here driving through. You can have that natural vegetation. There are services in our area that will come out and use field mowers and you know, mow it twice a year for you after monsoon season and in the spring when the snow melt has occurred, and that is behind us. So don't let the 4 acres be daunting. If you do want that space between you and your neighbors, but you think it's too much, it's really not terrible to take care of that. The other cool thing about this, you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but we are literally 7 to 8 minutes away from Prescott Valley Town Center. So it's a nice location, close to amenities. You're 3 minutes off the highway. You're about 18 minutes, 20-minute drive tops into the courthouse square to see stuff that's going on in Prescott. So this is a good location in that regard. It does not have the master plan community amenities, though. It does not have a gym. It does not have a pool, that sort of thing.
No clubhouse.
No.
Just a gate, but you do have all paved roads. So to be in an acreage community with paved roads is definitely a bonus.
The other thing, too, is there's still pronghorn that run through here, so you have some sort of wildlife that you get to see as well. And people are really friendly, so you'll see people out walking and they'll wave to you and say hello, and that's kind of a nice thing, too.
Okay, so we're headed east on Highway 89A towards Mingus Mountain. If we continued on 89A, we would end up in the little old mining town of Jerome. It was actually one of the largest copper or most profitable copper mines in the state of Arizona, and even in the entire nation back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So super fun day trip if you're visiting the area to head up over Mingus Mountain and drop into the mining town of Jerome. On our right is actually a Arizona Downs, which is a racetrack, a horse racetrack. So they do horse racing out this direction. We're actually headed to community of Saddleview, and Saddleview is, in our opinion, one of Prescott Valley's best kept secrets.
Absolutely.
It's very intentional to drive out this direction. You don't really notice that you have no idea that it's even there unless you pull off 89A, which we're getting ready to do here in a minute.
I would say it's one of those communities, too, that retains strong property values. It's highly sought after.
It's very quiet.
It is very quiet.
It's only a 12-minute drive, 12 to 15-minute drive to Prescott Valley Town Center, where all your amenities are. You see all of this wide open space. So to our right, this is some of the Thanes property that Tiffany had mentioned, big cattle ranch family. And
Do still run cattle on that land as well.
with any luck, we might see some cows here in a bit. And then to our left, this big field is Arizona State Trust land. So if you want to be in a neighborhood that has access to state trust land, Saddleview is one of our definite top picks. We're going to turn left here on Prescott Ridge Road.
Now, one thing to keep in mind with Saddleview, it is one of our acreage communities. It is also a homeowners association. The homeowners association is a heartbreaking $150 per acre per year. So 2-acre minimum is what they are out here. So $300 a year. That will take care of your common roads, your main roads in to the community, which is pretty nice. And then it takes care of things such as the mailboxes and that sort of thing. They are all custom homes in Saddleview. There are no tract homes out there. And there's some beautiful homes. The minimum square footage in there, I believe, is 1,600 square feet. So if you wanted something with space between you and your neighbors, but didn't want a massive home, that would be something to consider for the area. It is one of the most interactive with neighbors, communities, or neighborhoods in the entire area that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, for not being a neighborhood that has master plan community type amenities like a clubhouse or pool or that sort of, various clubs and pickleball and all that sort of thing. This neighborhood is definitely one of those where the neighborhood's very tight knit.
Absolutely.
They do a community picnic every year. They
do razor rides.
They do organized razor rides and, that's Polaris, side-by-side rides right from the community, which is great. It's kind of the launch pad for outdoor recreation because you're right at the base of Mingus Mountain, right in the foothills. So,
and it's sited on 2 sides by state land. So if you are a horse enthusiast or you're an avid off-road runner, that sort of thing, or even a hiker, you can leave the community on horseback or you can leave the community on foot and go for miles and miles and miles off-road, which is super nice.
So here we are. We just turned right, headed east on Bareback. And it's funny how a lot of the street names are related to horse riding or Western lifestyle.
Absolutely. This, in opposition to the Copperfield neighborhood, they actually do allow animals. You are allowed farm animals, horses, chickens, cows, alpaca.
Goats.
There's some goats in here. The only thing you're not allowed to have in here are pigs. And then you would obviously fall into the county's regulations for how many of those types of animals you were allowed to have. I don't think that there are a ton of owners in here with large livestock animals. I'd say there's maybe a dozen or less.
We've got state land on our right side, which is a great amenity of Saddleview. And then the community is on our left. And so you'll see, obviously, beautiful homes, all custom built.
Gorgeous views surrounding the entire area. Some of these lots will allow for city lights views at night. You still get the beautiful open skies at night as well. You get mountain views in the distance. There's a couple lots that you can even get Granite Mountain views from. You can have large shops like this one off to our right. I think that shop is probably larger than the first 3 homes we lived in. So, there's space for those sorts of things. And then some of the owners in here, it's a 2-acre minimum, but some of the owners in here have purchased, 2, 3, 4 lots, so they can get up to 8 acres. In fact, there's even a homeowner in here with 10 acres. So gives you more space between you and your neighbors.
There's a little play set on the left. So obviously this area is great for those ages, kiddos or grandkids, as well as retirees. I think it's a good blend of folks that are retired and then those that are still working.
Ooh, one thing we forgot to say about this community, It is actually open range, so we may or may not see cows walking across the street in front of us. So if you kind of want that rural lifestyle that you don't want to get up and feed a cow every day, this is a neighborhood that is pretty neat and unique to the area. And then again, paved streets on your main trunk streets through the neighborhood.
Hey, what about Amazon?
They deliver.
Amazon delivers out here, so it's not like, even though you're 15 minutes away from town and you feel like you're completely removed and in the country, you still get all the services: trash pickup, mail delivery, UPS, Amazon, right to your door.
Yeah, it's very convenient. I mean, it's not that far to town. And like you said, all of that stuff is available out here. Something to keep in mind with this particular acreage community, it is going to be well serviced and septic, so you're not going to be on city utilities in here. Some people like that though, because then you're not tied to that. You can, have your own well and handle that however you want.
And this, lastly, I'd say this is definitely the neighborhood that if you're an outdoor enthusiast, this is a mecca for outdoor recreation, because when you shoot up or down one of these streets to our left or right, you can access that state land and go for a hike or a horseback ride or hop on a side-by-side and venture out into the northern Arizona wilderness. So from that standpoint, that's pretty amazing because it's right at your doorstep.
It's interesting too, because we have several clients that live in here that, like Shawn said, are outdoor enthusiasts. They like the off-roading aspect, but we also have another client that lives in here, and she's an avid runner, and so she's able to run through the area and enjoy the scenery and the beautiful topography that's in this location. There's even, I've heard of one of the neighbors that lives in here. He's I believe a local dentist, and he is one of those extreme runners. What are they called? Distance runners, Shawn? And ultra runners. And so for him, he likes it because he can do some off-road running, or he can run out toward the highway. In fact, we've driven past this neighborhood when he's been running on the highway or off, into the shoulder. So it's a good location for people that like to be outside. And Shawn's going to drive up and show you the one of the access points out of this community to state land. There's still development and construction occurring in here. Every once in a while, we'll see a vacant land parcel hit the market. A lot of them are, I wouldn't say it's very common to see land parcels hit in here, but on occasion you'll see them trickle to market.
So if we continued east along this dismount road, it will turn into Arizona State Trust land. So that's kind of the edge of the community where we see the barbed wire fence up here, and we'll actually see what our SUV can do and head out into the wild, wild west. So that's definitely, and there's some cows. It's like we planned it.
We requested it ahead of schedule.
We called the cows and said, hey guys, we need to give these folks a taste of what
Living
our life in Arizona is like. And there you go. There's a herd of cattle. So we're now on Arizona State Trust land, and
what was that, 3 houses off of the main road to get to State Trust land?
Yep, right at the base of Mingus Mountain. And that
will do it for Saddle View.
All right.
So you've driven around town this long with us, and we are heading to our number one favorite neighborhood and community in Prescott Valley, which is
Jasper.
And we are headed on which street, Shawn?
Santa Fe Loop, headed west on Santa Fe Loop Drive. We're driving through kind of the heart of Granville to get to the roundabout, which will be Jasper Parkway.
I think one thing that is super amazing and very cool about this particular community is it backs up to, or sides, depending on where you're located in the neighborhood, the Iron King Trail. And the Iron King Trail is about 17 miles of walkable trails and hiking trails, and it connects to the Peavine Trail, which is on the back side of Glassford Hill. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast, you want to get out and walk your dog and stretch your legs every day, this is definitely a great area. You can ride your e-bikes, you can ride your pedal bikes, all of that stuff on it. It's a multi-use trail.
This Iron King is on our right. That's that path right there. And then it'll quickly cross over the intersection and then head towards Watson Lake along the base of Glassford Hill.
So one thing that stands out amongst kind of these newer communities, if you will, in Prescott Valley are amenities. So we can speak to a couple of the amenities before we get into the Jasper community. And one of those, which I think is kind of neat, there's trail system throughout the entire community. It's another 1,200 acres, which is the same size as Granville. It's kind of the newer, more updated, more modern version, if you will. Definitely cutting edge architecture. But some of those amenities, they have a restaurant on site. They have a bar on site. They have dog parks or a dog park. They have the most amazing clubhouse, in our opinion, architecture style-wise, in the entire area, the entire Prescott Valley area. And it is just super cool to see. And the gym is awesome. They have 2 pools. I'm probably forgetting something. Pickleball. I think they have bocce ball,
tennis.
Who has bocce ball except for Jasper? I think they have 9 pickleball courts.
Yeah.
So, and the landscape in here is some of our favorite in the area. They went above and beyond in their landscape. You can see some of the trails. You can walk around out here. They even have like these little cabana gazebos where you can take a break if you need to, sit down and take a phone call or tie your shoes.
Lots of new construction still. This is going to be probably a 15 to 20 year project, and they're only about 5 or 6 years into the project right now. So still very early. Here's the beautiful clubhouse that you can see right in front of us. And everything is just state of the art. It is Arizona's first green energy community. What that means is, green energy from the standpoint of eco-friendly materials, solar offered on many of the homes as an option. On some of them, they were even standard. We're going to turn into their J Club, which is their clubhouse. And you'll see the big J up in front of us. So, one thing is, what is all this going to cost, Tiffany? So
there's 2 fees associated with living in Jasper. You're going to have your homeowners association dues, which are $150 per month. And that's going to include your trash and your high-speed internet, as well as your landscaping and that sort of thing throughout the community. Not your front landscaping, but the community landscaping features. Then, if you want to be a member of this J Club, which I highly, highly recommend because it's like living in a resort, you're going to be $177 per month for that. So you're about $327 per month total for that. They do have, again, like I mentioned, all the amenities. The dog park is off to our right. If you're trying to find the place that you're going to call home for the next 15, 20 years, if you're not a member of the J Club, I feel like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, because we've had several clients that have moved here and they've all told us, they kind of all echo the same feeling, that it is like being in a resort full time. I mean, you can ride your beach cruiser up here, grab dinner, and then ride home. It's unlike any other community. It's one of our favorites in the entire Prescott area for sure. There's 3 builders that are building in here currently. You have the Eco Homes, which is going to kind of be your opening price point area of homes. And then you're going to go into Mandalay Homes, which is kind of the meat in the middle of the sandwich. And then your higher end, more
semi-custom-ish.
Top of the price point semi-custom is going to be Capstone. This is their original Capstone homes that we're driving through right here. These can get fairly good size. You can get up to about 3,000 square feet in their original series. Some of them had additional options for RV garages. Most of them have a minimum of 3-car garage. They do have some floor plans, elevations that are more contemporary. I know we've had people in here before that aren't into contemporary, but they love kind of this Arizona desert or farmhouse, mountain farmhouse option that they offer. We had one person in here with us, and she said, I feel like that garage door is a firehouse or a fire station. So, if that's not your thing, they do offer a few other elevations, it's unique to the area. So if you talk to a local that's been here for a while, they're probably not going to be as big of a fan as somebody who's maybe coming from something that offers, more unique and more cutting edge architecture options and styles. One neat thing too about the Capstone homes that the Mandalay homes do not offer is the location closer to the Dells. So some of these lots, now keep in mind you're going to pay a premium for these lots, but some of these lots you do have some boulder and dell views in your backyard, which is fantastic. The last time I checked, you're going to be six figures on some of those lots. And then their new models, which we're getting ready to drive by here, get pretty large. I think they end up at 3,800 square feet.
Yeah, they're 36 or 3,800 square feet.
But you can get up to 5 bedrooms. You can get, the 3-car garage plus the RV garage. I mean, they're massive. You wouldn't ask for or need anything else if you went with one of those. Shawn's going to drive to some of the lots back here so you can see some of the views that are available. I will say that this particular developer of Capstone Homes, they are trying to be kind of the top-notch, top-tier builder in the entire Prescott Valley area. So you're going to get quality, and nice fit and finish options from this particular builder. You can see some of the solar panels on the roof in here, like Shawn had talked to or spoken to a little bit ago. That is an option, which is nice.
This area of Jasper is kind of at the western edge, and these homes on our right will back to state land, which is nice. You'll have a preserved view forever. You'll never have people behind you. And that is a huge incentive. So that's why it's always important to work with an agent who knows kind of these various areas. And if you want privacy and you want your view protected forever, you can get that. You just have to know where to go and where to look.
Straight ahead of us, where that view fence is, on the other side of it is the Iron King Trail. So there was actually somebody on a mountain bike that just passed by. And then as far as development, future development, where you see the land disturbance at the bench is as far as they're allowed to go. The Dells are off to our right. So these are just some stunning, beautiful lots. They're not going to be able to go very far up on the hill. So that will preserve kind of that natural open space, which is pretty unique. It's not like some of the other states. They're like, sure, just come develop whatever you want, wherever you want. And it's a free-for-all. That's not what we're experiencing.
So if you're looking for the best of the best, in our opinion, this is it in Prescott Valley.
In a master plan community, for sure.
Absolutely. We're getting people from all over the country coming to, and they land in this particular neighborhood. It just has so much uniqueness and so many amenities that are unmatched in the Prescott area. And we think it's the number one choice for a lot of our buyers that are looking in Prescott Valley. So from Saddle View and Copperfield, wide open spaces, to the golf amenities of Stoneridge, to the cutting edgeness of Jasper, you can see that Prescott Valley has something for everyone. And
there's a home in every budget in Prescott Valley.
Yeah. Well, no matter what stage of life you're in, there's something truly special about this community. And now that we've kind of looked at some of the neighborhoods, let's take a closer look at the reasons why people are choosing Prescott Valley over other areas.
So the reasons that a lot of people are choosing Prescott Valley, there's a few of them. One of them is going to be everyday conveniences, such as the Prescott Valley Town Center, having the newer shopping centers at your fingertips, being close to events such as the Findlay Toyota Center or the local happenings that occur at the Civic Center Plaza. Another thing, it is located really close to outdoor recreational possibilities, like we've seen on the Iron King Trail and at Glassford Hill. You can also hop into some of those state land areas, and you can check out, via side-by-side or hiking, the beautiful miles and miles and miles of trails out there with wide open nature. We spoke to the big sky feeling in our Prescott Valley area. When you get into Prescott, you don't get it as much as Prescott Valley because you have some more trees and some more obstructed views. When you're out here in Prescott Valley, you do have those wide open skies and starry nights, which are just stunning and beautiful. And then the other thing too is golf. Golf is a big thing in Arizona, and it's still a big thing even here at Elevation in Prescott. And to be able to have golf, 18-hole course at your fingertips in a community where you can live and hop on your, golf cart and take advantage of those amenities right in your backyard. Those are definitely big things that are drawing so many people to our town. So as we mentioned, in the Jasper community, there is still development. It's 1,200 acres. They're about 5 years into construction. And another perk of Jasper, in some of the lots, which we've shown you in the capstone homes, they have another series, and these are going to be smaller lots, not as large as the series we just drove through. And they're offering eco homes, which again is kind of that entry price point. And then they're also offering capstone in this area that we're getting ready to drive through right now. And this is called Jasper 8. I didn't come up with the names, but they like to name everything on a number instead of an actual name. Here, you're kind of the king of the hill with incredible views beyond. You can see all the way out to Flagstaff on a clear day. You can see the Mingus Mountain area. These lots are, like I said, a little bit smaller. So if you're looking for maybe a lock and leave, you're wanting to be here 6 months out of the year and not be here year round, this might be something to consider. These homes also have something that's unique to the area in one of their floor plans, and they offer an attached casita. So if you're going to have multi-generational, maybe mom or grandma is living with you, but she still needs and wants her own space, this is something that's available in this community. I think these are beautiful homes, and it's more of just a compact lot, so you don't have as much to take care of. You can get out and enjoy those amenities in this community. You can see the views beyond are just stellar. So choosing the right home in central Arizona and in the Prescott area, it's about multiple things, right? There's going to be so much that goes into that thought process and that decision making. You're going to want to make sure that there's a safe place that you're calling home that fits your lifestyle needs and protects your long-term value moving forward. Prescott Valley checks a lot in all of those boxes with the brand new homes, the amenities, the master plan communities. But like anywhere else, there's trade-offs. So some of them have HOAs, and some of those HOAs are a little bit stricter and have more restrictions than others. That being said, you want to make sure that you land in the right home, and you want to, reach out to somebody who's knowledgeable in the area and knows the ins and outs of those communities and what's going to be the right fit for what you're looking for.
We're Shawn and Tiffany Danley, local realtors in the Prescott area, and we want to connect with you. So give us a call, text, email. We'd love to offer to you our 60-page relocation guide. And in that, it's jam-packed with all kinds of useful information about various neighborhoods, including some of which you've seen on this video. So reach out to us anytime. We'd love to help you make this part of our neck of the woods your new hometown. And thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next video.